Page 6. Forward. Ernest Klein. The Atari 2600 was the first video game console my family ever owned. And receiving that heavy sixer console for Christmas in 1978 would end up drastically altering the course of my life and career. Prior to this, the time I'd spent playing video games would have probably only amounted to just a few hours, doled out in all too brief 25-cent increments at my local arcade, or in the lobby of my small hometown movie theater. I invariably ran out of quarters before I'd had my fill, and each time I'd be forced to exit the game, room flat broke and longing for more. But once we got our Atari, my younger brother and I could play any of our half-dozen or so video game cartridges for hours on end. In the summer, when we were out of school, we would escape into the Atari's alternate reality all day long, until our parents finally began to fear for our vision and our sanity and forced us to go outside and try to amuse ourselves under the harsh rays of the sun. My memories of all the blissful hours I spent playing Atari games will always be tied to the artwork on their packaging. My first impression of each game came from the artwork on the front of its box, usually a dynamic illustration that depicted the experience you were promised to have while playing it. And since that same artwork also appeared on the label of the cartridge itself, you would catch another glimpse of it each time you slid the game into your console to play. It was like studying the cover artwork on your favorite rock album, cassette tape, or CD before you played it on your stereo, or admiring the movie poster art printed on the front of a videotape sleeve each time you slid a favorite VHS tape into your VCR. The feelings evoked by the imagery plastered on the media's packaging was a preamble to the experience of listening, watching, or playing what was contained inside. The box artwork was an essential part of the ritual to escape you experienced each time you played an Atari game. In a player's mind, the artwork on the label would be forever linked to the digital artifact inside. One informed the other, even though the crude graphics of the games themselves were never quite as, never quite as colorful or realistic as the illustrations depicted. That artwork had an almost magical way of elevating your gameplay experience by helping your imagination bridge the gap between the crude, pixelated shapes dancing across your TV screen and the fantastic images they could conjure in your mind's eye. Atari games played a vital role in the inspiration for my best-selling novel, Ready Player One, a story about an eccentric billionaire video game designer who holds an Easter egg hunt inside his most popular game in order to find a worthy successor to his fortune. This plot was partially inspired by Atari's ill-fated Sword Quest contest, which utilized clues hidden inside the comic book artwork included with each game cartridge, allowing readers to solve a series of fiendish puzzles in order to win fabulous prizes. I was also inspired by the very first video game Easter egg ever discovered, the secret room in Atari's adventure, where the game's creator, Warren Robinett, hid his name. He did this because at the time, Atari didn't give credit to its game